Hey everyone, welcome to Eco Convos with Dan. We're here today and we're going to have a chat with Mel Marx from Gympie Landcare. Now we're chatting we're talking about all the stuff they're doing here at Gympie Landcare, from their different blockies courses where you can learn about anything that you can do on your block. Doesn't matter how big or how small, it's fantastic what they're doing, what they're offering. So, and honestly, you won't believe the price. Only 20 bucks a person for when you come here for the full day experience. So it's absolutely brilliant. So they're also talking about using different bugs and moths and whatnot to get rid of some of the noxious pests we've got in the area. So your cat's claw vine. So how they're actually using them to treat them in our waterways. Look, it's an engaging conversation. Mel is an absolute wealth of information. She's a passionate person and honestly, just actually a wonderful, wonderful chat. So I hope you enjoy it. I'll talk to you soon. Hi everyone, welcome to Eco Convos with Dan. I'm your host Dan Vanderhook and we are here live today in Gympie Landcare. And my guest today is the wonderful Mel Marx. Mel, thank you for coming along. Well, thank you for having us out here.
Thank you, Dan. We're very excited to share.
So, Mel, how long has Gympie Landcare been around?
Well, we've been around for 33 years on the 4th of October this year.
So very, very close to 33 years, yeah.
Yeah, we considered one of the first land cares to get up and running when it all started. So we're very excited about our history, you know.
Yeah.
We've still got some of the originators around, so it's really exciting, and they come and talk to us now and then.
Yeah.
So we've really moved into regenerative agriculture quite a bit, and when they came to speak to us about field days and workshops that they used to do, we saw they were really on the regenerative path. So we were very excited because we're standing on the shoulders of giants. You know?
Absolutely.
And we're excited about that, and we really want to do the best for another 33 years.
So it hasn't always been on the regenerative side of things?
No, we sort of lost our way, I think, a little, you know, during the chemical era, and some of that sort of came in, and so I think we're really trying to move away from that. We've had a little bit of a reputation to be chemically focused.
Okay.
So we're really moving away from that very strongly at the moment.
So really focusing on that land care perspective.
Yeah.
You know, that's absolutely fantastic. I'm so glad to hear that that corner's been turned. And so you know, you guys have been doing a heap of fantastic workshops and events that you've been running here in particular. Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about, say, the blockies course?
Well, it's very exciting because we probably believe that our value is brought through networks and connecting people. That's really what we do. And we like planting seeds. So we've got this blockies course that runs for 10 weeks.
Yeah.
It's 1 day a week. And people come and we're really covering topics like soil. We're doing natural sequence farming. We're doing agroforestry. We're doing biodynamics. Yeah. And we're even doing basic things like fencing. You know, you come onto a property, you've never fenced in your life. That looks like the biggest thing to have to do, you know. So
these are important things to learn. Yeah. You know, and I think it's great what you guys have been able to do, you know, with those courses, and just being able to have people come and have a chat with you. You know, being able to have those sorts of things running, and you're there for everyone from the novice to someone who's been doing it for generations. You know, and so that's really, really exciting. So it runs for about 10 weeks, you said?
10 weeks, 1 day a week.
Yeah.
People come.
Okay.
And we're really excited because, you know, talking about the different people, we've got people that have got a property of 1.5 acres versus another person who's got 2,000 acres.
Wow, what a breadth of experience.
Absolutely.
And stories as well.
And you wonder, why does somebody who's got 2,000 acres, who knows their story around cattle, why they're here? And I asked them, and they said, well, because we've been doing conventional farming and we want to learn to be regenerative. So really excited.
Wow, that's fantastic. Just really, once again, turning that corner, actually going for something that's, you know, the more ethical and more responsible route is wonderful. So what sort of money does that course set people back?
Well, it's $20 a session. Yeah. So we have been sponsored by the Gympie Council on that as well. Okay. So, you know, thank you to the Gympie Council. They're very generous when it comes to sponsoring our education work.
That's wonderful.
So, yeah, I mean, $20 a session. Where do you get that?
That's right. Yeah. So, talk about value. I mean, that's fantastic. And you're talking to some of the people that essentially some of the best in the country as to what they're doing and how they're doing it, aren't you?
Exactly. You know, we've got Stuart Andrews. We've got so many people who just know what they're doing.
Yeah.
We're excited about that. So.
No, that's really exciting. So Mel, how did you get involved? You know, you've obviously got not from Australia originally. So.
No, I'm originally from South Africa, and I came here on to do work, and you know I stayed because despite what people might say, this is really one of the most beautiful and wonderful countries to live in, and I've made this country my home. So I'm really excited about that. But we lived in Brisbane, and we just decided we've always had a vision, my partner and I, of owning our own piece of land.
Yeah.
And we just decided that's it, packed up, came to find some land here. So that was about 4 years ago. But you know, when you get into a community, you've got to find a way to connect with the community. And I actually came to the Blockies course.
Yeah, right.
Believe it or not. That's how I got
That's how you got involved. Yeah,
wow. Got with the Blockies course. And then they sort of knew I had quite a bit of experience in organisation management and transformation. Yeah. And they asked me to join the board. Okay. So, yeah, so that's how I got involved. And I haven't managed to wrangle my way away yet. So here I am.
So, I mean, you really are a product of the systems that are being put in place.
Absolutely. I mean, I just love the Blockies course. I learned such a lot. So it's exciting, you know.
That's brilliant.
I mean, something else we're really excited about in our education space is junior Landcare. Okay. So we've just started up junior Landcare, and unfortunately we started up in 2021, which was COVID.
2020, yeah.
But, sorry, 2020, yeah. And but we've got such a lot of young people that are coming, so we're really excited about what we can do with junior Landcare.
It's funny, you know, we've talked to Aaron Mears about the living classroom and what he's doing, you know, in having, you know, the kids are actually coming along and finding that sort of level of involvement, but actually just getting their hands dirty, and what you can learn, and what, you know, how the kids can actually pick up those sorts of information, and coming home and saying, Dad, we're gonna dig swales now. You know, that's just the kids are actually where it's going, and I think that's, you know, a big part of where this change is going. I don't know what your thoughts about that as well.
Well, we were very concerned because I think the membership was aging. Okay. Like a lot of organisations, you know, the membership was aging, and we've done a lot of work to try and build that membership. Yeah. You know, and so we really thought, let's start at the bottom. Let's start at the ground. You know, and you were talking about people getting their hands dirty. I presented one of the days for the junior Landcare, and we were doing some planting. Yeah. And one of the little juniors said to me, "I don't put my hands in soil, it's dirty." I said, "Well, give it a go." Yeah. Well, within a few minutes, she had her hands in the soil. She was planting like crazy, loving it.
Dirt under the fingernails, getting right into it.
So that's the type of thing. That's the type of thing we've got to change with children. You know.
Certainly.
They've got to know where their food comes from. They've got to understand that cycle and how that works. So yeah.
I think one of the things, the benefits that we do have in you know more regional communities is the fact that we do have farming close by. So in a lot of ways, you know, the cities are so insular, whereas there is that, you know, that aspect of, you know, you drive down the street, you got cows to the left, horses to the right, and you know,
absolutely,
it's one of those sort of things. But you know, that is certainly an understanding that kids do have to take.
And we're hoping we just plant one seed. Yeah. If one of those children go away and they do something great for the environment, then our job is done. Yeah. And that's really what we're trying to get at.
It's, you know, it really is inspiring what's going on. That's absolutely wonderful. So so you've got Stuart Andrews comes along and does the natural sequence farming. Yeah. What else is sort of covered in these 10 weeks?
Well, you spoke about Aaron. So Aaron is doing permaculture for us.
Fantastic.
We've got Kane De Boos.
Yeah.
Red Soil Organics. I think Red Soil Organics. He's going to do agroforestry and biodynamics for us. Yeah. We've got the fencing is going to be done by our president's husband, who's a farmer and been a farmer for some time.
Yeah. Put up a couple of fences over the years.
He's going to do a few fences. So can't remember off the top of my head all the other bits and pieces, but So
I mean, we'll obviously have the links to all of that, you know, through the story and through all the social links and whatnot as well. Right. So people will be able to get that information. Yep. You know, and is that something that you're going to continue doing over time?
Absolutely. I mean, we'd really like to run 2 a year. So enrollment has already kicked off last week, which was the 23rd of July. But if anybody wants to get in now, by all means.
So you can still come along and join the last ones, yeah?
And if you want to just do an individual session, you're quite welcome to come as well. So you might just want to do biodynamics, or you might just want to do permaculture.
Yeah.
In that case, just come.
That's a really cool thing. So is it every
Friday?
Every
Friday from the 23rd of July now through till October, I think.
Yeah. So for the 10 weeks.
Yeah, for 10 weeks.
Yeah. No, very, very exciting. And they're all day.
All day. Most of them are all day. Some of them are half day, but most of them are all day.
Yeah. No, brilliant. So Mel, we're sitting behind, for those of you who are just listening rather than watching the YouTube. We're sitting out in the grounds in Gympie Landcare now, and so we've got the beehives behind us, but we've also got some hothouses behind us as well. So what sort of stuff is actually going on here?
Right. I'm glad you asked that question. I think the thing that we've got the most powerful experience and knowledge in is being able to propagate native and endemic species. So we have a nursery here. We have a wholesale nursery and a retail nursery.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of good stuff happening in there. One of the areas we're moving into with our nursery is we're trying to look at fodder trees for feeding of animals. So, we haven't really had a big focus on that, but we've actually found quite a lot of natives are good fodder as well. So we're really wanting to try and support that side of the business as well.
So what are some of the benefits of having fodder trees rather than necessarily just pasture?
Yeah, well, animals, more than 30% of their diet is not pasture.
Really?
Yeah, and there's a whole lot of obviously forbs and legumes and things that they eat there.
Yeah.
So really trees are an obvious choice because they just give it a good prune and off they go. You know? And there's all different type of minerals in there.
So is that helping provide shade in paddocks as well and things like that?
It brings up minerals.
Yeah.
It cycles water.
So the deep roots actually bring everything up. Yeah.
So there's a lot that trees, the value of trees.
Wow, wonderful.
And I think a lot of farmers have now found that if they'd known a few things a few years back, they wouldn't have actually taken out the trees in their paddocks, or they would have just thinned it out a little.
That's it. Yeah, done some selective clearing rather than just a blanket.
Exactly.
Now I've got a big open paddock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the retail space, we're also trying to get into a little bit of food as well. So we've got a lot of the indigenous food trees as well. Yeah. But we're also doing vegetable seedlings now and seeds. So we want to become a little bit of a one-stop shop for people.
Yeah.
Come get your natives, come and get your vegetable seedlings as well. So we're really trying to move into that as well.
So rather than necessarily going out and supporting some of the big chain, nurseries, and not necessarily just the nurseries, but the hardware warehouses that we can go to and whatnot, you can actually support, supporting people actually getting into the ground, actually getting stuff done.
And we're using people who are growing those seedlings in our community. So it's not coming from outside our community. We're trying to find people who grow seedlings in the community.
That's great.
And organically as well.
That's fantastic, because one of the things we were talking about, the other day with someone was that so many of the seeds are actually brought in from overseas. The most of the little packets you get, they're all from overseas. So being able to have someone here who's growing them locally, once again, you're supporting the local community, you're supporting everyone around. By coming here, people are buying them. Then it's going back into the community as well. It's a beautiful cycle.
Look, and it's important to be organic as far as we can as well, because there's this coating of seed happening where they coat it with all sorts of chemicals. Yeah. Which everybody understands probably the link between our food and our own health. Yeah. And all these coated seeds means it's not good for our health with all the chemicals. So
and then it's also going to leach into the soil.
It leaches into the soil. It kills our biology. So it's important to try and find organically grown seed if you can.
So Mel, I think there's also that level of having having people here who are passionate about what they're doing. So they've got the information, so you can just come and ask as well.
Absolutely, we can advise. We've got good advisors.
Yeah.
I mean, you asked me just now, we were looking behind, and you asked me what these tunnel houses are. So I'd like to move on to our biocontrol. So we're probably one of the few biocontrol facilities in a Landcare setup.
Okay, so what's biocontrol?
Well, biocontrol is using insects really, and all sorts of beetles and things to control some of the pest burdens and pests and invasive plant species that we have. Yeah. So we've been doing a lot of work on cat's claw. So I'm I don't know if you're aware, but cat's claw and Madeira vine are a big threat in our region.
You see a lot of it around creek lines and things like that, and
Exactly.
you know, for those people who haven't seen it, that's the one that's creeping up the trees, and
it's beautiful yellow. This beautiful yellow flower, you know, and that's why it gets around, because people think, oh, how beautiful is that?
It creates this sort of fairy playground sort of a look.
It does,
but
and
it's actually quite invasive.
It's very invasive.
Yeah.
And it really kills the native. So you know,
it's a vine, so it's strangling the trees.
Strangling the trees.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Madeira vine is also a vine, and they believe that it's probably going to be worse than cat's claw. So you know, we're doing a lot of work. Unfortunately, we haven't found something that just eradicates it, but it slows it down. So we've got these little bugs that we breed.
Yeah.
And they definitely slow them down.
That's excellent, because I mean you are limited as to what you can do. I mean, you're right on a waterway and things like that too. So you don't want to be hurting the water, obviously, in the surrounding area. So in the bugs, they just come along and they start nibbling away and eating it.
They do. Yeah, some of them are, you know. So we've got a leaf tying moth, for instance, which is very interesting. It actually ties the leaves up.
Yeah.
It ties the leaves up, so they can't, you know, they need they're little solar panels leaves, aren't they? So when they're tied up, you know. So it's just really interesting stuff we're busy with. We're moving now into compost worms as well, because you know, a lot of farmers are spraying compost worm juice onto their pastures and things, because that really helps the biology.
So that's that, taking that next step from having your worm farm in your home veggie garden and spreading it around. That's industrial scale.
Industrial scale. So we're really trying to look to do that. We're also doing a project at the moment with Calais on dung beetles. So we're trying to figure out, particularly the ones that were introduced in the 60s, how many of those species we have here and how prolific those species are. So that's also exciting work we're doing.
So what's the aim of that one? What's that?
Well, at the end of the day, we're wanting to get more dung beetles into the pastures, particularly the bearing ones. Take all that nutrient down in, and they can take it up to 1 meter deep, which is quite amazing if you see how big they are. They're so small.
But that's fertilizing the ground. That's them doing an incredible job. It's not just a beetle who likes hanging around in the cow poo.
Yeah, and the cow poo, of course, is a breeding ground for all sorts of things. You know, buffalo fly and all sorts of things. So the quicker you can disperse that down into the soil, the better. So we're really we're hoping to establish like a little breeding setup here where we can breed them and sell them to farmers to be able to repopulate them in their pastures.
So by doing this, I mean, you know, by essentially introducing species into an area, you know, is that going to have the same sort of effect? I mean, we all know about the cane toads and things like that. That's I know that's where a lot of people are going to go when we're talking about introducing species. Is that are we going to end up with any problems like that?
Well, you know, it's been around for more than 40 years already, the introduced species, and there's been no effects really.
No downsides.
No. As a matter of fact, the cane toad is one of their big predators.
Yeah, right.
that eat them. So the cane toads will just sit next to the poo and have a feed, you know. So so no, I mean, in the last 40 years we haven't seen anything like that. So so that's good.
That's fantastic.
So the other
I was just going to ask you.
More. So we've got a conservation and environmental team as well. Yeah. And they've just got into the accounting for nature framework.
Okay.
So I don't know how much you know about that, but really that's putting a value on our natural resources.
We were started talking about it before, but if you could go into a little bit more detail about it, that'd be great.
So you know, it's really valuing our natural resources. You know, the pastures, putting a monetary value on your pastures, on your waterways, on everything that you have on your farm. Because until we actually put a monetary value, because our economy runs on money. Yeah. I know a lot of us would like that different. I think the economy, we need a different economy, but for now, that's what we've got.
It's where we're at.
Exactly. Yeah. And so we're doing a lot of pilot projects at the moment with Landcare Australia as well as with FAN. Okay. And that also helps people to get into the carbon space. You know, there's quite a lot that's been spoken about carbon, but you know, putting a value on the carbon you have at the moment and how you're building your carbon and really having proper measurements around that. So we're really excited about that work that we're doing.
That's really, really exciting. But I think you just brought up a bit as something I don't think a lot of people would know is the idea of, you know, you're working with Landcare Australia. Yeah. So you guys are independent, aren't you?
We are.
So each land care in all the different regions is all independent. You
Absolutely.
run it the way you want to run it.
So people think that we sort of a sub branch of Landcare Australia, but we actually aren't. We're independent. They do support us with a bit of marketing, things like our logos and those type of things. If they have grants available, we can apply for them. Yeah. But there's no money. They don't give us any money to support the organisation. So
you haven't got government money coming in.
From Australia, from Landcare Australia.
Yeah,
we have to apply for our own grants.
Yeah.
So it's tough and it's quite competitive out there.
Yeah, I think that's something that a lot of people won't have realised. Yeah. So really getting in and supporting your local land care. Whether you're here locally in our region or anywhere else, getting and actually supporting what they're doing is a vital thing to actually keep this operating.
Yeah. Look, we really value community.
Yeah.
That is the essence of what we are.
Yeah.
Particularly in Gympie Landcare. And just as an extension of that is volunteers. So volunteerism is really what we're about.
Okay.
We have some of the best volunteers.
Yeah.
And without volunteers and without the community, we wouldn't exist. So, we're really trying to nurture our volunteers.
Yeah.
What we would really love is more members.
Okay.
And not only more members, but more engaged members. We really need people to step up and support us and help us. We need people with different skills. We've got a certain amount of skill here.
Yeah.
We've particularly tried to get different skill on the board.
Yeah.
Because probably some of the best advice we've ever received was, for things to get better, you have to get better. So
That's a fair point, yeah.
The management committee know that unless we get better as a group, we cannot lead this organisation to a place where we want to.
Yeah. So what sort of, if someone was to come along and say, I'd love to become a member, I'd love to support you, what sort of time investment are people talking?
Well, you can give as much or as little time as you want.
Okay.
So if you're on the management committee, we have a monthly meeting which can last up to 3 hours because there's lots to discuss.
Of course.
We're hoping to give you a portfolio that you would run. So you're probably looking per month at about 6-7 hours per month at least to support us. Some of our volunteers are here 2-3 times a week, and they're here for 3 or 4 hours. So that's a bigger time commitment.
Once again, that's that love and that passion.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So, you can give as much time as you want, but we need different skill.
Yeah.
We can't continue having the same skill that we have. We need different skilled people. So, we've just got somebody on the board at the moment who's doing their PhD in community building.
Okay.
So we're hoping to really utilize that skill and knowledge to build more community and better community.
That's really exciting. But and so just in the same way that in your gardens and in your pasture land and things like that, you need diversity that's going in there. You need that in these organisations as well.
Absolutely, and that we really we've even got, we need more Aboriginal people as well.
Yeah.
We haven't got enough of that. We've got so much to learn about nature from our Torres Strait Islanders and Aboriginal people, and our First Nation people. They need to come and teach us, and we're open.
Yeah,
come teach us.
Well, I think that going back to what you were saying before about some of the plant stock that you've got here as well, and your native and indigenous food sources and whatnot as well. I mean, I know that's certainly something that I don't know anything about. The idea of being able to say, well, you can eat this or don't eat that. The idea of actually being able to have places where you can learn how to do that, and places where you can actually be setting that up in your own backyard. I think that's a brilliant thing to be able to have. You know? And so once again, the local knowledge here is obviously here, but that could be expanded.
Absolutely. I mean, we've only touched the surface of what we could do.
Yeah.
We really want to give more advice. Advice takes time. Unfortunately, so we need enough people to learn to be able to have somebody out full time who can just give advice.
Yeah.
And as I say, we need different people here as well.
So in terms of people who are coming in, completely green, completely novice, just people from the community who are saying, well, where do I start? What do I do to start? Is this a welcoming place for them to be able to come and and learn a little bit?
Well, we're trying, we're working at trying to make it a safe and welcoming place for everybody. We have our moments, like all organisations.
Like everyone does, yes,
exactly.
Of course.
But I think overall, I mean, if you speak to the volunteers, I'm sure they'll say, they're getting out of this what they need.
That's wonderful.
And I think one of the reasons we have quite a good volunteer group is because people feel it's a place where they can come together and connect with other people.
Yeah.
Because it's a place you can connect with other people, particularly if you're lonely.
Yes.
If you're lonely, come connect with other people. We'll teach you. You don't have to know anything. Just come.
Just come.
We'll teach you.
That's a really, really exciting thing to do, and to have that opportunity for people to come and learn, because I know if you're coming in, you've never done anything like this before, maybe mum and dad had or grandparents had something growing in the backyard, but I know I've certainly been there where I've killed everything I tried to put in the ground and whatnot. Being able to come in and actually and say, well, look, I don't know what I'm doing, that is daunting. That is quite intimidating. But having that change that's happened in the last 18 months, there has been people becoming more aware. There has been people getting into their gardens a little bit more. And it really also, it has been a mental health thing for people too.
Absolutely. I think COVID has made us lonelier than ever.
Yeah.
And I think we've really got to step out of this now. I don't think we can ever go back to the way it was. So we've got to find a new path. And I think this is a place where people can heal, connect with other people, connect with the soil, connect with plants, just feel that you're doing something valuable, because people need to feel that they're valued.
Yeah.
And we hope that this is a place where you feel valued.
Yeah. Well, it certainly sounds like, and I know the volunteers here do a wonderful job, and they are absolutely appreciated by the management board as well. And so you were talking about how you've got your seeds as well. I've seen the seed savers box up there as well. Do you have a plentiful supply, or are you always looking for more?
We're actually struggling at the moment to get a lot of seeds. So we've put a call out to people who would just allow us to come onto the property and harvest seeds. So, that's a way to get involved as well. You don't have to come and work here or be a member, but call us and say, come onto my property, come and get seed. Yeah. Because we really need seed. And we need seed from local provenance. We don't want to buy seed in. No. But sometimes we have to if we're going to propagate certain stuff, because we cannot find seed. So please, we'd love it if people would just call us and say, come to my property, come and help.
Yeah. So I'm surely there would be seed out there that just you guys don't know about where it is, that you haven't been informed and haven't been welcomed.
Oh, exactly. And there might be things there that we haven't seen for years. Yeah. That we would love to lay our hands on, so yes, please. So,
and that can be anyone, whether it's, local farmers or just people, with their block in town as well. Yeah. No, that's brilliant. So, go on, everyone. If you got the seeds out there, get in touch.
Call us.
Yeah. So even if you just got plants that you've let go to seed, even if it's just because of essentially lazy farming, no worries.
We'll have it.
I'm sure you would. So we've got some beehives behind us as well.
Yeah. So Valley Bees is an organisation as well that they're a wonderful group of people who give their time freely, and they teach people about beekeeping. Yeah. So they have a free session. Yeah, I think it's every Saturday of the month, every second Saturday of the month. Might be the first Saturday. Don't quote me on that. You have to have a look on the website, please. But they come and they do a free session. They maintain these beehives. They teach people about beekeeping. So that is us trying to work with people. Yeah. And I think it's really important that we start, as organisations that are in natural resource management, we really need to start working together. Absolutely. We work closely with MRCCC. They've really been a great organisation.
So the MRCCC was the Mary River Catchment Committee?
That's right. Yep. BMRG, which is the Burnett River Mary group. Yep. We're working closely with them. We're working closely with FAN, which is, Food Agriculture Network. Yep. And we want to work closely with more people. With Gympie Landcare, we're doing a lot of work with them. We're working closely with them. So I think we need to stand together as groups and work together.
Well, at the end of the day, you've all got a common goal, and that growing awareness that is certainly circulating out there, it's a powerful tool that you've got. And so, I'm sure the community work that's going on, because that's what we're really finding out. This whole area is the community that's getting involved. The people who are involved in, whether it be permaculture or agroecology or any of those sort of areas that people are going. That is that community that we just want to help. Yeah. And so everyone's got different areas of expertise and able to make things, make things happen. Yeah. Because you end up being quite a powerful voice.
Absolutely, and we have to work together, because singly we can't do it. You know, there's not enough money floating around. If we start working together, pooling our resources, I think we can get further.
Yeah.
You know, one of the exciting projects that we're really looking to do is we want to build an arboretum.
Okay.
And what that would essentially be would be a piece of land where we would plant all the trees that are endemic and native to this region. Yeah. And it would become a living seed bank. And we're hoping that people would be able to use it as a park and all sorts of things. But it takes money, and it would take a sizable piece of land for us to do. So, anybody who's wants to just give us a sizable piece of land, we're up for that. We're up for that, and that's really what we want to do with it, because then we'd be able to have seed, and we'd have seed for generations to come.
Once again, from local species.
Absolutely, because that's important for us to keep the local species alive.
Definitely. Well, that goes to the whole idea of what regenerative farming is and what regenerative agriculture is the idea of putting it back the way it was before we stuffed it up. So having what was here local and having what was here, for generations before. Yeah. That's important to keep it, in order to put it back the way it was, because that's how waterways work.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. I mean, I think the sad truth is we're probably never going to get it back to what it was. No. But I think we can be more thoughtful about what we want to create for the future.
Yeah.
Thoughtful about what we plant, what we don't plant. So getting it back, probably not, but we can give it a good go.
We can get as far as as good as we can.
Yeah.
So in terms of where to from here? So you've got the plans for the arboretum as well. You've got things going with the bugs coming in and then actually essentially doing some amazing work. What's next? What other things are on the horizon?
Well, the accounting framework, or natural accounting framework, is something we're really excited about. But we really want to expand our education quite a bit, and we'd really like to bring in probably some external people to give us ideas in workshops and field days. I think field days are very powerful as well.
Is in perhaps site visits and things like that?
Exactly. We go to people's farms and we actually see, because a lot of people learn by actually seeing and just talking to people. Sitting in a classroom situation is not always helpful.
No.
And that's why for the blockies, what we've tried to do with the blockies is actually be out on people's properties. So we'll be going to Lulu's Perch, which is Aaron Mears' place. We're going out to Forage Farms, which is Stuart's place. I think field days, and I remember when we were talking to the originators of Landcare, they were doing a lot of field days. Yeah. Going out, sharing what they're doing with people. So I think field days is something we'd really like to get into, and we'd really like to build our workshops and presentations. So we'll be having, we've got Graham Sate, I think in September, Graham Sate will be here. So if people are interested, he does nutritional farming.
Yep.
I don't know if you've
I've heard of, but exactly where? The name rings a bell.
Yeah. So Graham Sate is nutritional farming. So he's really focused on not chemicals, but if a plant's lacking something, what do we feed it? Yeah. Do we feed it calcium or magnesium, or what is it we're busy feeding it? So
that's important, and knowing the nutrients that you're putting into the soil, because it's not going to be able to come up and be a fully nutrition fruit, or if it doesn't have the nutrient to start with.
And he's very focused on that link between soil health and human health as well. So we're excited to have him here. It will be his second time with us. So he does a 4-hour presentation. He goes at 100 miles an hour because he's got so much he wants to share. But so that's exciting for us to have him. And look, we're hoping to try and get some of the other big speakers like Charlie Arnott's and those people here as well. So I think what we're trying to do is connect people with ideas. Yeah. And if that's all we do, I mean, we have services which we give and we love. that, but really connecting people with ideas.
Mm.
You know, when we started on this journey, we were really concerned that we didn't actually understand what farmers needed.
Yeah.
And we've put together an advisory board
Yep.
of farmers, which we were very excited about. We had our first meeting in February.
Yeah.
And look, they gave us some hard truths about our organisation, you know, and we've taken that to heart, and we're really trying to change a lot of that. So, you know, we've got people like Tim Scott.
Yeah.
And yeah, we've got Stuart Andrews. We've got one of the viners, Bruce Viner.
Yep.
And, you know, Bruce's family were one of the originators and some of the first people that really were on this land in Gympie. So we're excited about those people that are on that board, and we really take what they tell us seriously. You know, they were saying we might come across a bit tree-hugging greenie.
Yep.
And farmers don't quite connect with tree-hugging greenie.
There is a level there, absolutely.
So, you know, we're trying to change that image quite a bit, you know. So, yeah, they've given us a lot of good advice, and we're busy working on that. And we'll be meeting twice a year with them, and we'll just talk about progress, talk about new things, starting up. And
just starting a dialogue, though, is the most important thing. You know, just once you start, and you can say, look, you know, I'm open for criticism, you're open for criticism. Let's just have a chat and see where everyone's at. That's where things start, and that's where momentum can really grow.
That's right. It is that networking and that dialogue that's so important for all of us, and for us to be really open-minded, because a lot of stuff gets said to us, and you're thinking, "Well, that's not how I see the world." You know?
Yeah.
So I think if we can really strive to be more open-minded, even if at that moment we're thinking, "Well, that's not what I'm thinking."
Yeah.
Just give it a time to percolate, and maybe just explore it a little bit more.
I think that's pretty good advice for everything, not just what you guys are doing here and what's happening out there. I think that's actually some exceptionally good advice to go, you know, for the world in general. You know, is we're very, very quick to judge what other people are doing, but I was able, you know, stand in their shoes for a little bit and see where people are coming from.
You know, I was reading a book, and this book really moved me. You know, there's lots of beautiful books out there, but it's The Repurposed Life by Ronnie Kahn.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if you know Ronnie Kahn, but
Ronnie Kahn
is, they do food rescue, so she created Oz Harvest.
Okay.
Now, food waste in this country, we waste 7 million tons a year of food in this country. Right. Can you imagine what the effect that has on our resources? And they equate that to $1 billion a year.
Yeah. But even just on a level of, you know, there's 23 million people in the country.
Exactly.
You know, that's just unreal.
It's just mind-boggling.
It's a third of a ton each.
And so she rescues all that food. Yeah. And she redistributes it to people who are in need. Now, you know, we might think there aren't people in need, but there are a lot of people in this country in need, and we are wasting food like that. So I was just moved by the fact that she's an ordinary person like you and I. She saw a problem, she couldn't stand that anymore, and she went and did something about it. And I think if we all just saw a problem and said, well, I'm not standing for it anymore, and we actually did something about it, we'd change things.
Things that happen so quickly. There's the idea of if you did 5 things every day that was for someone else and for the environment, the world would be a very, very different place. And sometimes that can be just as simple as picking up a piece of paper.
Well, if we all got into the carbon space and just started working with our soils, the scientists reckon within 5 years we could get all that carbon out of the atmosphere and back into the soil. But then we've all got to get to it.
And then, but that does things. You know, that fixes. You know, restores rain cycles. That restores absolutely every level of our Earth.
Yeah. And no climate change issues anymore. None of that. You know. Yeah. And hopefully we would have learned something in the process.
You'd think so. So yes. So Mel, it's been absolutely wonderful talking with you today. And so we do with all our guests. We have our 6 in 60. So are you ready to go through it?
Okay.
As quick fire as we can.
Right.
All right. So I've just lost my piece of paper. There it is. So Mel, what? Feel free to answer this on behalf of either yourself or also Gympie Landcare. Okay. I'm happy for either or both. But so what's a personal habit that contributes to your success?
I think I'm going to talk on behalf of Gympie Landcare. I think what we've tried to build is a strong volunteer group. And I've said that before, but that's a habit that we've tried to entrench here.
Yeah.
And a community, really trying to build community. So, and those are habits that we value.
Yeah.
We really value those.
Yeah. Well, it comes across. So, but what's the best advice you've ever received?
Somebody told me once, remember there's always 3 sides to a story. And I said, what do you mean? And they said, well, there's one side, there's the other side, but the truth is probably somewhere in the middle.
Yep. So 2 different sides of the truth.
Yeah.
That's it. Perfect. What's one thing that you're most fired up about today?
What we can do as a community in the natural resource space. We've only started. We've been born for a time like this. I know it's a very uncertain time, but this is the time for us to step up and do. Perfect.
If you could recommend one book or podcast to our listeners or our audience, what would that be?
I spoke about Ronnie Khan. I can recommend yours. I've listened to yours because I think what you bring is what's happening from a regenerative perspective in this region. All the others are from other regions. So, and we're thinking maybe it's not happening here. It's happening here, and you're telling us about it. So, great work.
Well, thank you very much. But also check out Ronnie Chan's book too.
Absolutely.
Okay. So, what sort of personal goals are you hoping to achieve in the next 12 months?
Well, we want to create a sustainable biosphere in this region. I mean, one of our big dreams, and we haven't quite articulated it yet, but having like an eco center in Gympie, where all the organizations can work together, sit in one place. We can have our nurseries, we can have our koala action groups in there. If tourists come through, they can learn about our region. So that's something we're excited about and we'll be exploring more.
That's fantastic. So, okay, so the mystery question, the one that we come up with for a different one for everyone. Okay, let's say someone gives you an elephant. You can't sell it or give it away. So what are you going to do with it?
I'm going to put it on the land.
Put it on the land.
And I'm going to move it in cells. I'm going to let it do cell grazing.
Just cell graze elephants. Fantastic.
And I'm going to bring in big dung beetles to eat the dung.
That's awesome. Mel, once again, thank you so much for coming on. Is there anything else you wanted to shout out to the world before we go?
We need engaged members, so please join Gympie Landcare, and come and do something valuable.
Come and make a difference. Mel, thanks for your time. Thank you for having us here. We're going to go for a bit of a wander around with the video, but in the meantime, talk to you later.
Thank you.
So how cool is that? They're doing some incredible stuff here. It's really, really exciting. I'm sure you liked it. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Comment if you've got any questions you want us to ask. We'll absolutely make sure we get back to you on that. So great talking to you. Look forward to seeing you next time.